Hello. I There has been these videos going around where people list their favorite films from every year that they were born. And I did this before, but it was you were pitting them in different videos. But I like this better because it's like all in one video. This is probably gonna be the longest video I've ever made. I was gonna look for all the movies, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Okay, I was born in 1988, and Totoro came out in 1988, and that is perfect because Totoro has been one of I didn't watch it when I was like that young, but it's been one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't even remember when I watched it, to be honest. Like I don't remember, but I watched it and I loved it, and I connected to it so strongly, and I still connect to it. Um, I have a little Totoro as well. I have it on DVD. That is the correct version. The one I have is on DVD, and that is the correct version. And then you have it on Blu-ray, and that's not the correct version. That has Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning voicing the characters, and they say their names wrong, like Satsuki's name wrong, the whole movie, and it like grinds my gears. It drives me nuts. But the DVD is fine. The DVD is like the way it's supposed to be, the American version anyway. But Totoro, like I connect with Satsuki so strongly because she was like taking care of her sister, making sure her dad was okay. Their mom was in the hospital, and Satsuki, I'll say like she's like 12 years old, maybe 11, 12 years old, and she's kind of carrying all this stuff. Like she's being strong for everyone. She's happy, being like, I'm happy, everything's okay, but you know that she's stressed as hell. And the one scene that I've always loved is when May comes to the school because she wants to be with Satsuki, and you can sense the dread that Satsuki is feeling. Like you don't even have. I mean, obviously it's like in her face and everything. Like, she was like in the when you see her in her classroom, she's laughing and she's smiling and she's so happy because that is the one thing she gets to do for herself and by herself, and that's the only peace that she gets. And then May comes in because she's only 5, so she doesn't really understand. Obviously, she doesn't really understand Satsuki's need to be on her own sometimes, and so she comes and tests in the classroom with her, and then Satsuki's whole mood changes because she is like, oh my god, I have like even in school I don't get peace, and I just love her so much. Like when I was younger, I didn't like her, but now that I'm older, I understand everything that she's feeling. Like it's like she's just so young and she's dealing with all this stuff and she's trying so hard to make her sister happy, and then when they get the call that their mother is like not coming home when she's supposed to come home, Satsuki just really like loses it and she cries and she's scared, and it's the first time in the movie where you get to see her scared, and like it's so such a beautiful movie. 1989 is when Harry Met Sally, another one of my all-time favorite films. I've seen it a lot. um I haven't seen it in a while either, which I don't understand why I'm not one. But I do have this thing where I watch a movie over and over again, and then I won't watch it for a while. But that's a feel good film. Again, I don't remember when I first watched it. This video is gonna be really long, but and it's but I don't remember when I watched it for the first time. Like I'm not that person that can be like, oh yeah, I saw it when I was 14 years old. I don't know. I have no idea. But I watched it, and then I introduced it to my cousin, and she loves it. She loved it too. So, it is a beautiful film, and all these like couples in the film, like older couples, and they're actors, but all the stories are real, all of them. And there some stories are just beautiful to hear, even if they're not from the real people. They are still real, so the stories are beautiful. Um, and then so that made me wonder. Like I have watched this movie so many times, and I never really thought about it. But like knowing that the stories that the couples in in the movie are talking about, they're not their stories, but they're real stories. It kind of made me wonder if Harry and Sally's story was based on a real love story, but then they just had Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal tell that story. So now I'm wondering. I haven't looked it up. I think I will have looked it up, but now I'm kind of curious about that. 1990 Mermaids. This movie is so unappreciated. It drives me nuts. Like it has Cher, Winona Ryder, and Christina Ricci. Christina Ricci's first movie. She's 8 years old in this movie, and Winona and Christina played like had a great little sisterly bond that I wish they did more together. But Mermaids is about Cher. She's a single mother. She's kind of I always kind of thought like, oh, she's like Lorelai Gilmore. Like she has that personality, but she's a little, but she's not like all like, she's not really best friends with her kids. Kind of maybe, but she's not like, they're not going to her with their problems. They're not like, I have a problem. I'm gonna talk to my mom. Like that's not their. They don't. They don't feel comfortable really like expressing themselves to her. Um, but she loves them and they're close. And I love this movie so much because I've seen it a lot. I've seen it so much because I love unconventional families. Like I love that so much, and I love dysfunctional families. But it's like it's dysfunctional, but there's love in the home. But they just don't really talk about things, and things kind of boil up in the end, and like stuff is and Winona's character just lets it all out, and it's wonderful. It's wonderfully acted. So if you haven't seen Mermaid, you need to watch it. 1991 is My Girl. Uh, Another one, like I just kept every year. I was like, oh my god, that's one of my all-time favorite films. My Girl is another one that I've seen a lot. Again, I don't remember when I first saw it, but I watched it and it made me cry. Every time I watch it, it makes me cry. Like the scene that used to always make me cry. I mean, it's the same scene, but when Danny, oh my god, Dan Aykroyd, when he's telling Vera, Veda, oh, I'm the worst, Veda, that Thomas J died from the bee stings. I mean, I'm crying. It's the same scene, but I used to always cry when he first tells her like, you know, that he was stung by bees. I'm like, oh my god. But then I started crying when he was like, there were just too many of them, and like that got to me. And then when she's in bed and she asked if she killed her mother, that part has never made me cry. Like that part has never made me emotional. But then for some reason I rewatched it, and when she asked, "Did I kill my mother?" that like broke my heart, and it made me cry. So that was the first time I cried at that part. But this movie is beautiful and sad, and the performances are wonderful. So watch My Girl if you haven't. It has Anna Klumsky, it has Macaulay Culkin, it has Dan Aykroyd, and it has Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd have done many movies. Like I don't really know how many, but they've done a few movies together. I've seen this. I've seen um, Trading Places. I've seen Christmas with the Cranks, and I've seen. There's another one. I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember. But yeah, they have good chemistry, so I appreciate that. 1992 was Mighty Ducks. This is gonna sound crazy. It is, but this is just purely nostalgic. But it's my favorite trilogy of all time. I know like people don't like the third one, but that's actually my favorite, and it's not on here because I feel like I mean, 1992, I didn't mention that. 1992 is Mighty Ducks, but the third one's actually my favorite, and I know it's really unpopular because they're like Emilio's not in it, but I love it. I love it a lot because I feel like it's very real. Like there's like a lot of good acting in that movie, with the emotions and like Hans passing away. There's like I feel like Joshua Jackson's acting was so strong in the third one, and I just love it a lot. I don't need Emilio Estevez to be in it to like it, but the first one is just like fun, and there's not really much to say because I think you can. It's a hockey movie that involves children, so you can kind of get the gist of it. But I love it. I love Emilio Estevez. I love Joshua Jackson. I love Charlie Conway. He's one of my all-time favorite movie characters. Like I love him so much, and Joshua Jackson played him beautifully. 1993 is Philadelphia. I was like struggling with this because I want to put movies on here that are my favorite movies, not just like award winning movies that I'm supposed to put here. But I had to put Philadelphia in this. I don't own it. I've only seen it once. I'm not gonna see it again. But this is like a masterclass at what acting is supposed to look like. You have Tom Hanks, you have Denzel Washington, two of the greatest actors of all time, and then you have Antonio Banderas, who is also amazing. But just like in this court scene with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, that is like masterclass of acting. Like I was watching that and like, with my jaw on the floor. I was like, these two people are just too talented for their own good. Like they are amazing in this movie. So if you haven't seen Philadelphia, it's beautiful, and unfortunately, it's still not. This is fight is still not over, but I love this movie. So good. 1994, Little Women. It's my second favorite movie of all time, and it has Winona Ryder, Claire Danes, Kirsten Dunst, Trini, I don't know her name, and then Susan Sarandon. It has Eric Stoltz. It has Kristen Bale. Yeah, why don't I might be like Kristen Bale. I'm gonna say I hate the people who ship Lori and Joe. I hate you guys. I hate you because you're missing the whole point of the book and the movie. Like you're missing the whole point. Um, so I hate shippers. I hate them. Like I usually like ship whoever you want, but the amount of people who ship Joe and Lori drive me insane. Gabriel Byrne is in this as well. Forgot about him. I love Joe and the professor. I love them together. Like they make so much sense as a couple. But like Lori and Joe, absolutely not. No, no. 1995. Now and then, I have watched this film so much, um, but I haven't really watched it recently because I think I'm scared to watch it. Because I had a DVD of it and I watched it to the point where it was like not playable anymore. Like the back of the disc was like destroyed beyond repair. So I bought another copy. And I've only watched it a few times since buying the new copy. I saw it on Netflix. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. If it is, you need to watch it. But I watched it on there, and then I watched it a few times on my new disc. But I'm so scared to watch it. Like I'm so scared. I don't want to do that again. Um, it used to be on Blu-ray. Like immediately. Like that's what I'm upset it's not on Blu-ray. Same with Mermaids. Like why don't they have Blu-ray releases? But now and then definitely needs a Blu-ray release. It's perfect, and it has Christina Ricci in it, and it has Thora Birch, and those are my queens. Like those are my queens when I was a child. So yeah, such such a great movie of friendship I want to like watch this like 4 times in a day. I used to watch it every single day. That's why that just got destroyed. It is so good. 1996 is Matilda. This movie I have on Blu-ray, which I mean it should be, but then I don't know why some movies get it and some don't. I'm gonna stop ranting about it, but Matilda. It has Mark Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, and other people that I don't really know too well. But what I love about it, like I relate to Matilda, not to the extreme that she was, but living, but like feeling lonely. That's something that I felt when I was that age, 6 years old, and old, like in elementary school. And I wanted to read because of her. I got my first library card because of her. Like I went to the library and I wanted to read because of her. And I read a lot when I was younger, and I didn't like reading again, but that was something that brought me so much happiness. I would go to the library and try to check out like all these books, and I would check them out and I would read them. And I got into classic literature, not at that age, but like after I would watch it a lot, and then I started being like, I want to be Charles Dickens. I want to be Moby Dick. Like I wanted to read classic books, and like I loved classic literature. So I owe that to her. Like I owe that to Matilda for like introducing literature in my life, and I will like that's one of the main reasons it's on like one of my all-time favorite movies, just because of that. Because like she inspired me to get a library card, and like amazing. I saw it in theaters too. It was fun. 1997 is my best friend's wedding. This movie, I didn't see it when it came out, but I watched it. I know I saw this in junior high. I just don't know like seventh or eighth grade, but I was in junior high and I watched it and I loved it. And like, there's some films that just become a staple in my life for like a certain period of time. And my best friend's wedding, it became like a staple during that time. I watched it like a lot. I watched it pretty much every week. I don't think it was every day, but I was like every other day. Like I watched it to death. Let me just say that. I had it on DVD. I've upgraded it and I watched it twice since getting it on Blu-ray. It's just unique, and people who watch this movie and are convinced that um, see, I don't even remember his name. Jules, and Michael. They go. Michael loved her. They did not pay attention to this movie at all. Like they don't pay attention to it. They just want them to end up together because she loves him, but he doesn't love her. So that's the difference. That's the thing. Like he does not love her. He loves Kimmy. So yeah. Does he ever say that he loves her? No. He doesn't say that he loves Julia Roberts' character, who's Jules. He never says that to her. Ever. Not in like a romantic way. And people misinterpret things a lot in this movie. But ultimately he doesn't he's not in love with her. He's in love with Kimmy, so that's the thing. 1998, I picked Saving Private Ryan. I saw this when it came out, not in theater, but I watched it on TV, and it hit me so hard, and like I loved it so much. My older brother couldn't watch it; it was too hard for him. But I watched the entire thing. I watched it all. I didn't turn away from it. I watched it all, and I loved it so much. But then I'm gonna include it because I do love it. But then I from 1998, my real true favorite movie is Slums of Beverly Hills. And this movie has a dysfunctional family, which I love dysfunctional family. I own it, but again, I don't want to get all the movies out. This is another one that needs a Blu-ray release. Personally, I feel like it needs a Criterion Blu-ray release because it's so special. I feel like it's such a special movie. Like I watched this when it was on TV. Like every time it was on TV, I would watch it. And then eventually I was like, I need to own it on DVD. Why don't I own it on DVD? So I bought it. And I honestly haven't watched it that much on a DVD, but I love it so much. Like when I do watch it, I'm like, yeah, this is dysfunctional family. This is like it's a very unique family situation, and I love the father as much as he's kind of a weasel about things. He means well, and he's trying to like give his kids the best life he can give them. So I appreciate that. I mean, I didn't put this on here, but anywhere but here, I feel like would be a good double feature with some of the Beverly Hills. Have you seen both of them or either of them? If you haven't seen them, watch both together because I feel like that would make a perfect double feature, personally. Because anywhere but here, as soon as Sarandon doing anything to get her daughter out of their small town they're living in, even though she has to go about things the wrong way. But yeah, I love that one too. 1999, 10 Things I Hate About You. This has Heath Ledger's debut in America, and it has Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Julia Stiles, and Larissa something. But fun fact: Julia Stiles and Heath dated during the filming of the movie, and Andrew Keegan isn't. He's Andrew Keegan's irrelevant in this in the world and my life. So, but just thought I would include him because people know him. He's in it. Um, but yeah, Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger dated during the filming of this film, and I was always just like I always thought they might have because I felt like their chemistry was amazing, like more than just acting. So when I found out they had dated, I was like, makes sense, because like they had a beautiful connection in this movie. But 2000, Where the Heart Is, this movie I'm gonna say it's my favorite Natalie Portman film, and I know she's done better work than this. Like The Professional is one that is obviously her best work, but this movie I like simple films a lot of the time. Like I like Hollywood classic films that are like beautifully shot and beautifully acted. But then I like simple films for like entertainment value. I like them simple. I like them comforting, and I find Real Heart Is to be very comforting, even though it's really not. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie that's like not comforting at all. But I love this film. I love Stockard Channing's character and how she takes care of Natalie Portman's character, and I love the growth. Novalee and sister is their character's name. And I love Novalee and Forney. I love the little family that's created with Ashley Judd's character and Natalie Portman and Stockard Channing and Forney. Like I love the little family that's created. Um, But the thing I don't I always had a problem with is that we don't really see Norvalee taking care of her daughter by herself. It's always she's always like being taken care of by other people, and Norvalee's just in the air around her, but not really like taking care of her by herself. And I kind of would have loved to see that, but like, but then again, you see the whole family that she's created, helping her and like loving her, and you see her grow, and it's such a beautiful movie. Okay, 2001, Fellowship of the Ring. I love Lord of the Rings so much. They're all. I mean, I can. I think I can guess the movies that are coming after this. But 2001, Fellowship of the Ring. It was I was very like against watching these movies. I didn't want to watch Lord of the Rings, and then I watched the Two Towers in theaters like 3 times, which wasn't my decision. It just happened that way. But the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, it was so good. And then I watched it 2 more times in the theater, and I was like, okay, I love this. So I watched the first one, and I was like, oh, it's so good, so good. Then I watched the second one, and then I watched the third one because it had been out after it came out on DVD or whatever, and I watched that. Actually, watched it last. It took a while to get to it because my mom and stepdad love this series, and so when they got like Return of the King, I watched the Return of the King, and oh, okay, I 2001, 2002, 2003. Okay, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Like this franchise is perfectly cast, perfectly acted. It's a beautiful film, it's a beautiful movie. So, I'm not gonna talk too much about it. Lord of the Rings, people know what it's about. 2004, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This one needs a Criterion Blu-ray release. This is Jim Carrey's like most perfect film, Truman Show. I need to rewatch that. I saw it in theaters and I didn't like it, but I need to rewatch that. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I feel, is the best performance he's ever given, and it needs a Criterion release like today because it's that good. 2005 is North Country, and again, I was gonna pick a movie that I love and that I've seen a lot, but North Country impacted me so much. It has Charlize Theron, it has Jeremy Renner, and some other people I don't remember, but it's the woman in this. It's based on a group of women who got sexual harassment laws passed in the job force, and it's so hard to watch. I'm never gonna watch it again, but the performances are amazing. There's a scene where Charlize Theron is in the kitchen with her parents, and she starts like crying very subtly, like talking about things that have been going on. She's like crying, and her dad is like comforting her. And the whole time she's crying, I felt it all. I felt all her emotions, and like I wanted to like give her a hug, like make tell her it's gonna be okay. Like felt her emotions and her feelings, and it was like beautifully acted. So if you haven't seen it, see it. There's I think you can determine what's in this depending on because I said sexual harassment in the workplace. So beware of that. 2006, Devil Wears Prada. This one I don't watch that much, but when I do, I love. And her friends suck. They're awful, but I love the performance. I love Anne Hathaway. Meryl Streep is in it. I like her. It's a fun movie. So, um, 2007, Into the Wild. This movie pretty much changed a lot of my thoughts and feelings about certain things. They love how I love people who do their own thing. Like they live their life the way they want to live it, no matter how many people criticize them. And he got criticized a lot, but at the end of the day, he lived his life and he died young. But that doesn't matter. He lived his life to the fullest, and I love it. 2008 was so hard. I was looking at all the movies and I was like, I don't like any of these movies. Like, this is really hard. So I picked It Man. I love that movie. It is really good. I don't own it. I'm not even gonna own it, but I loved it a lot. It's a really really great movie. Not just martial arts. It's a human story, and it's so good. To watch it if you haven't. 2009 is up. It's my favorite Pixar film of all time. So why I put it in this. 2010 was double. I couldn't pick just one. They have Tangled and they have Blue Valentine. I couldn't pick between the two, and they couldn't be more different from each other. But I love Tangled. It's my second favorite Disney movie. I've determined because just talking about it makes me really happy. My all-time favorite is Little Mermaid, but then it's Little Mermaid and then Tangled because I love this movie so much. Blue Valentine, I've seen it 3 times. There are people who are like, I can't watch it, it's too hard. Why? Like, I've seen it 3 times. I don't think it's that hard to watch, so I don't understand that. But this one also needs a Criterion Blu-ray release. Good on it, Criterion. It deserves it. It's really good. 2011 is A Little Bit of Heaven. This is another year, and I was looking at everything, and I was like, I don't like anything here, or I haven't seen a lot, but the ones I had seen, I didn't really like them, or they didn't really mean anything to me. So I was like, this is not good. I was struggling, so I picked this. It has Kate Hudson. I'm not a huge Kate Hudson fan, if I'm honest, but I liked this movie when I first saw it. It's really sad and cute and sweet, and I recommend it. This is one I do need to own, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But it is a good movie. 2012 with Moonrise Kingdom. I own this on Criterion Blu-ray. I got it on DVD and then I upgraded to Criterion Blu-ray. But this film is so magical and so much fun. And I don't like movies or TV where like children are in a relationship. Like I just feel like that's kind of weird. Like I saw Flipped and everyone like this is so cute and I was like they're kids. Like why are you shipping children? That was weird to me. So Moonrise Kingdom is really sweet and very cute, but not because of the relationship between two children. I find that really weird, and people are like, I ship these kids, and I'm like, they're children, stop it. But yeah, it's good. It's really cute. 2013 is Her. This is another one that I want on Criterion Blu-ray. I didn't want it on Blu-ray. I should have bought it on Blu-ray and I didn't. But this is such a unique movie, and I think it's one of the most beautiful films ever made. Every time I watch it, it just like fills me with joy. Like I just love it so very much. I own it. I do own it, but really, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. 2014 is wild. This is another year I was just struggling with trying to find a movie, but I picked it because of Laura Dern. She is great in this movie. She doesn't have a big part, but when she was in the movie, like the scenes she was in were so impactful to me. And I was like, I have to put it in this. Like, it was amazing. Her performances were great. So, oh, I forgot to mention October Sky. I was gonna put that on there here too. That was 1999 or 2008. 2008. I don't remember. I saw that in theaters. That I do know. I was in fourth grade. I was now I don't know, but I saw it. I think fourth. Maybe it would be fourth or fifth grade. I saw it in the theater. I saw it like twice or three times in the theater. And then I got it on DVD and I watched it a million times. Got it on Blu-ray, watched it a few times. So like that's another one of my all-time favorite films. I almost didn't talk about it because it's not on the list, but I have to in my heart and heart. I have to talk about that movie because that's one of my all-time favorite childhood films and just films in general. So there you go. But yeah, Wild is fine. 2015, The Martian. Again, I struggled so much with this. Like, I was like, what movie did I like? None of them. So, I picked The Martian. Actually, I did like a few, but nothing that was like, I want to put it on this list. But The Martian was better than I thought it was going to be. Like, when I first started it, I was bored and it got better, and I was like, okay, I like this movie. It's good. 2016 is Nerve. This movie is so much fun. Like last year, I watched it like every month. Like this was like a movie that I watched all last year, and I first watched it on Amazon Prime, and I bought it the minute I was done with it. Like I bought it, and then when it came in the mail, I watched it that day. Like it came in the mail, I got out of the packaging, and I watched it right then. So I've seen it a lot, and I mean it's obviously not like greatly acted or anything, but I just love it. It's so much fun. 2017 is I, Tonya. This movie was beautiful. Margot Robbie did an amazing job. It has Allison Janney. There's a scene in this film that I always think about. It's when she's doing her makeup for her last uh, routine and she starts crying. and that wasn't scripted. Margot Robbie just started crying in that scene because she was feeling like Tanya, you know what? And she got emotional. I was thinking like what Tanya would have been thinking or going through in that moment. And she was tired too because she'd been working so much, so the tears were real. So that just made that scene so much more powerful. Like the was actually her like breaking down, and it was beautifully shot. It was a beautiful scene. 2018, The House That Jack Built, and then Shoplifters. I couldn't pick. The House That Jack Built is a very controversial movie, but it's so good. Like, it is good. It's very hard to watch. I'll never watch it again. It's a controversial movie for sure. Like, it's really controversial. But I thought the acting was great, the writing was great, everything was great. It was edited wonderfully, it was beautifully shot. So, put it on this list because it deserves to be on this list. And then Shoplifters, literally, like, emotionally disturbed. Like, not disturbed me. Emotionally, like, broke me. Um, I couldn't stop thinking about it after I watched it. Like it was like a week after, and I was still thinking about it, and I couldn't really talk about it without wanting to cry. Like it just like it was so beautiful and sad, and well, I'm never gonna watch it again. I won't, but it's special, and I think people need to watch it. Um, 2019 is Parasite and Jojo Rabbit. I could not decide. Both of them were beautifully done. Parasite wrecked my emotions. The end scene, like, there's no words, there's nothing, and it like wrecked me, made me cry. And then Jojo Rabbit was a wonderful film. It has Thomason, forget her last name, but I completely forgot about Leave No Trace, and she's in that. I don't remember what year it came out, but if you haven't seen that, you need to watch it. I own it, and I completely forgot about that movie. But Leave No Trace, get to it. But yeah, she's in Jojo Rabbit as well, and she was great as always. And this movie is wonderful, and you're gonna see it. 2020, Banana Split. I've actually seen it twice. I wasn't sure if I was gonna watch it. I love Dylan and Cole Sprouse very, very much, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna watch it because I looked at the trailers. Dylan was supposed to be in high school, and I was like, he does not look like he's in high school. He does not look like a high school student. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna believe this. And then I bought it on Amazon Video, and I watched it and I loved it a lot. I thought it was so cute and so fun. So then it's on Netflix now, and I watched it on their birthday. For their birthday, I watched Big Daddy because it's their first film, and then I watched Banana Split for Dylan because he's the oldest, and then I watched 5 Feet Apart because Cole. I watched 5 Feet Apart like a billion times, and I was gonna put that on the list, but I didn't because it's not that good. But I watched it. I've watched it a lot. Like last year, I watched it all the time. So I watched Nerve in 2018, and I watched 5 Feet Apart all of my 2019. But in any case, I didn't put it on the list. I didn't put 5 Feet Apart on the list because it's not that good. But um, that is it. This was fun. So talk to you later. Goodbye.